anxiety mounts over the spread of COVID-19.
This truly is an international story that affects us all.
The coronavirus pandemic, which is, I'm sad to say, accelerating at dramatic speed.
Breaking news. The first death from coronavirus here in the United States.
Italy has now surpassed China in the number of COVID-19 related deaths. Australia and New Zealand announced that they would be closing the borders to foreigners.
The border will be shut down. The border between Canada and the U.S. closes to all non-essential travel.
Hi, I'm Mel.
And I'm Jay. And we started a travel channel during a global pandemic.
What were we thinking? But let's rewind a little bit here. Back to December 2019. So we were both off for Christmas that year. We had 2 weeks, and we were really just enjoying the routine of having all that extra time together, having our meals together, and relaxing, actually. And we were just really enjoying each other's company. And, we spent a lot of time remembering our travels to other places and our most recent trip to Tahiti.
And that's where we came up with the idea of Chapter 4. So to explain what that means, we've kind of thought of our life together so far in terms of chapters. So Chapter 1 is close to the beginning of our relationship, actually. We went on 2 back-to-back working holiday visas. The first one was to New Zealand, and then we had a year in Toronto, and then went to France for a year. So that was Chapter 1. Chapter 2, we moved out to the West Coast, to Victoria, and we decided we were going to settle down permanently in Victoria. Of course, it wasn't even a year, and Mel got this invitation to come down to this little Caribbean island called St. Kitts. And that was just an opportunity that we couldn't pass up.
Yeah.
So we went and lived in St. Kitts for a couple years. Then, Chapter 3, we decided to move back to the West Coast because we loved it so much out here, and settle down permanently in the Vancouver area. Well, that's worked really well for, again, a couple years.
4 years. 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Done a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
But again, we had this discussion and we decided that we really wanted to travel again.
Sorry, I keep looking off. It's because we have Benny out here right now, and I'm just worried he might jump the fence. So that kind of led us to brainstorming what Chapter 4 might look like. And at that point, we were watching a lot of YouTube videos, following quite a few travel channels. We toyed with the idea of getting a sailboat and sailing around the world, looking at RVing and all kinds of different things, backpacking, which we'd already done. So we thought, something a little bit, more kind of take our home with us in a sense. And that way we could bring Benny with us as well. Ooh, that's a big B.
Yeah, so we zeroed in on the idea of RVing.
Yes. That way we could bring our home with us and have Benny with us as well, so that he could, join us.
And since we've been looking at so many YouTube channels and that kind of thing, we decided it might be cool to start a channel of our own.
Yeah, so here we are.
Home A Roam.
Home A Roam. Oh, gee, that beat. Once we kind of formulated that plan, we started planning and organizing ourselves and kind of figuring out all those finer details, and we started kind of putting the plan into action.
Yeah, so we had it all lined up. We both handed in our resignations. Everything was green, go all across the board. And then the pandemic hit.
And that changed things a little bit for us. So our original timeline was to quit our jobs by end of March, beginning of April, and then take our trip to Hawaii in April, sell our house by beginning of May, move by beginning of July, and have our RV by before the end of July, and then start traveling by September. So that obviously hasn't happened because of various circumstances. And I'm going to pass it over to Jay to tell you what our new timeline is.
So we finished work about the time that we expected. Our Hawaii trip, of course, got canceled. We sold our house round about the time that we were thinking we would, but our move date was a little bit later than we had originally anticipated. We're going to get the RV probably in August, which is good, and then hopefully start traveling by September. So we're really only about 3 to 4 weeks off our original plan.
So all of our plans for the fall are a little up in the air.
Yep. Yeah, the borders are still closed and they keep extending the closure date, so it's really hard to say when they'll open again.
Yeah, so we might be limited to local travel only, or maybe Canada-wide travel, but we'll see. We don't know where it's taking us, but it'll be an adventure.
So one of the good things to come out of this situation is that we're not quite as rushed. And we've had some time to learn some new skills. For instance, Mel has been learning all about social media management, which she's really enjoyed. I've learned about editing software and special effects. We've both been learning about camera techniques and filming, and we've been able to experiment a little bit. For instance, our anniversary video, we got to use lots of interesting techniques. We've had time to put up our website. And one of the best things is I've been learning how to make sourdough bread.
Yeah, so a lot of good things have come out of this, even though our schedule's only thrown off by a couple of weeks. And even though the fall is still a little bit up in the air, we still have a lot of great content coming out for you. The next few videos will look at our truck and our trailer options for you. We definitely want your input on that. Of course, we'll have our moving video, tour of our new house, and as we get settled there, we'll be doing a lot of local travel around the Fraser Valley. So we'll want to show you all of that. And our big season 2 kickoff will be in August when we reveal our decision on our truck and our trailer. So yeah, so lots of stuff to come.
And as always, thank you so much for your support. It really helps us out if you can give a thumbs up, a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you again. And remember, when you roam, everywhere is home. About exactly when we cut.
Benny kitten, what are you doing? You naughty naughty.
Stay tuned.